Welcome to this video tutorial on how to smooth out data in Microsoft Excel using a method called the moving average. So why do we want to smooth out data? Well, sometimes data is very hard to read, and we want to see the overall trend of the data, but we can't because there's a lot of noise. Now, noise is a lot of small fluctuations within our data. Let's look at an example. We're going to use data of Facebook. This is the stock price throughout the year of 2018. So before we do anything with moving averages, let's just graph the data to see what we're dealing with here. So we'll go insert line. All right, so let's adjust these axes here to scale the graph a little bit better. Do 120. All right, perfect. Now let's zoom in as well. Okay, perfect. So this is what I'm talking about with the noise. You see all these small fluctuations here, and it can be very hard to read the overall trend of the graph. These small fluctuations can really throw you off when you're trying to understand the trend and what's happening. So we can solve this with a method called moving averages. And the moving average is simply the average of clusters of data points. All right, so let's go ahead and create one. Let's move that graph over. All right, so in the column next to our data, we can create a moving average column. And you can use any number here. You can do 3-day, 5-day, 7-day, 21-day, 51-day. All right, so let's just start out with a small moving average of 7 days. So we'll just go ahead and label that 7-day. All right. All right, so we're going to take the average of 7 data points. So we have to go to the middle data point, which is data point number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go over 1. Use an average function. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right. So you may be wondering, why don't we use the average of the first data point? Well, we can't because there's no data points previous to that. So we have to start in the 4th data point for a 7-day moving average. So let's just go ahead and drag this data down. And just like at the top, we have to go and delete some data points at the bottom. Why? Well, once again, we're not capturing any real data. Because look, we're taking the average of these blank cells, and that we can't do. So we actually have to lose some data points. So let's go ahead and delete these 3 data points here. All right. Perfect. So now let's graph this to see what happened. All right, so we'll highlight these, go to Insert, Line. All right. Once again, we'll adjust the axis. And we'll zoom in. Okay. So here you can see our moving average line, the orange line here. And it's a bit smoother. It eliminated some of the fluctuations. It eliminated some of that noise. Okay. Now, because we use a relatively small moving average, it didn't smooth out a lot. So let's go ahead and use a bigger moving average to see how we can smooth this out even further. Let's go ahead and use a 21-day moving average. So we'll label that 21 days. Let's zoom out here. All right. So let's capture the middle data point here. 10, 11, so 10 data points above and 10 data points below. So go ahead and use average function. Okay, capture 21 data points. Hit enter. Drag it down. Once again, we have to delete 10 data points from the bottom because you see it's not capturing this data. So we're just going to go ahead and delete 10 data points. 910. Clear contents. All right. So let's graph this data. Perfect. Insert line. Okay. So as you can see, as we average more data points, the line gets smoother. Let's go ahead and get these axes here. All right. So here, now we can see this orange moving average line. There's basically no noise. And here we can see the overall trend extremely easy. Goes down, increases, goes down again, and we don't have to get thrown off by all these small data points here. But it comes at a trade-off. As the line gets smoother, we lose more data points here. So you can see this orange line, it doesn't actually extend fully. And that's because we're losing these data points in the front of the data and at the back of the data. So that's sort of the trade-off that's happening when we do use moving averages to smooth out data. All right, and that's pretty much it for smoothing data using moving averages in Microsoft Excel.